Greetings, Stars fans! Welcome to the Two Brothers Mic'd Up show. This is your Dallas Stars game 28 against the Carolina Hurricanes. We've had a bit of a break there. I think it's been, 5 days since we've had one of these videos. But, as always, we start with each video from the last video, so be sure to always watch to the end to catch our predictions. Quinn, you said that with this game against the Hurricanes, you liked, if the Stars were going to come on top, you liked the score of 3-1. If the Carolina Hurricanes were going to come on top, you had liked the score of 4-2. On the other hand, I liked the score 4-1 for either team. I thought whoever was going to win this game, it would not really be a blowout, but kind of in the sense of the blowout. But instead, we got a Stars win 6-5, 11 goals, the most goals in the season so far. And who would have thought it would have come against the Carolina Hurricanes? So let's run down the score. Let's run down all the goals, and then we can talk about what we saw from them and go from there. So we have the first Dallas Stars goal from Patrick Eaves from assist by Tyler Seguin and John Klingberg. We have Jamie Benn getting his 19th goal, his league leading goal, followed 29 seconds later, and then that is assisted by Nichushkin and Johnny Oduya. Then we see Johnny Oduya, from which I thought it was actually Sagan's goal, and then I thought it was Nichushkin's goal, and then I thought I didn't know whose goal it was going to be. So it winds up getting credited to Oduya because it turns out it went off the Carolina player, with assists from Jamie Benn and Nichushkin. Then in the first period, we get a goal from Tyler Seguin, his 15th goal on the power play, assist by John Klingberg and Jamie Benn. Quinn,
that's like his third goal at home too.
Yeah, no, he, like what was pointed out in the broadcast last night, is that Jamie Benn and Tyler Seguin are very much two opposite players on the ice. Jamie Benn gets the goals at home, Tyler Seguin gets the goals on the road. Now here they cash in the same period, both at home. No big thing to Jamie Benn, but also that's only Sagan's third power play goal.
I think it's his fourth.
It's fourth power play goal of the season. So I know in interviews you can definitely tell that Seguin prides himself in really taking care of the power play. You can really tell that Tyler Seguin has set up himself to be kind of like what Brett Hull was whenever he was here on that weak side, and he has a lot of power on his shot, so he likes to set up on the off boards over there by the circle, by the hash marks, and he makes a living right there in the power play. So it's good to see that he's finally cracking into the power play, because he takes a lot of pride in the power play. But going off, we get a 4-goal first period. Let's talk about goaltending, offense, and defense. Let's talk about the defense first. In the first period, how'd you like Dallas defensively in this game?
They came out with a purpose that they were trying to establish themselves early with a quick, physical game. They were moving the puck well. They made all the right decisions, and overall, they played probably one of the best first periods they have had this far in the season.
Yeah, it's I think it was also this is the most goals that they've had in the first period since 2009, and it was also a very accurate first period, because I think they scored on 50% of their shots. If not, I think they only had 8 shots in the first period. After after they got up a couple of goals, that's when Carolina really started to give Dallas the pressure. Granted, Dallas was getting lucky on a lot of their goals. Well, not really lucky per se, but they were catching the Carolina Hurricanes with their pants down on a lot of stuff, especially the Tyler Seguin goal. But you could tell that once they got up a high goal number, Dallas got into maybe a little bit of the conservative mode that, kind of bit them in the ass against the Calgary Flames. It's something that bit Minnesota in the ass of playing against the Dallas Stars. And actually let's back it up to let's go to Carolina. Carolina is in the stats and ranks one of the worst teams in the league so far, but they are coming off of a 2-game winning streak. But still, this is still a very weak team going up against the number one team in the league. Dallas has the best record, and Carolina had only had 8 wins on the season before their previous 2-game winning streak that they had coming into Dallas. So it's one of those games that, like I talked in the last video, was this going to be a game that Dallas played down to their opposition instead of playing above what they could really go for? Could Dallas show a killer instinct against a team that they should beat, and you know what, they should quite handily beat? And in the first period and in the second period, we saw that it looked like Dallas was going to really put their foot down on their throats and just say, nope, not tonight. You are not getting in this game at all. But then it started to get into the... As soon as Carolina got their first goal, you could tell there was a little twinkle in their eye. In the first period, the Stars were scoring at will. They were getting their entries in. They were breaking out of their zone decently in the first period. I mean, everything was hitting on a note to how Dallas was playing in the first period. And then that first goal for Carolina, it really, jumbled the Stars. And I'm not sure why it jumbled them. Do you have any reason why you think they got jumbled in that?
No reason. It's just one of those fluky goals, it comes in, and I think it really started to mess with Kari a little bit, but I really don't see why they would get jumbled by it.
Yeah. In the first period, the Carolina Hurricanes, they were coming at Dallas. They were getting shots on the net, and Kari was making fantastic saves. Yes, he got lucky. I mean, Christopher Stieg could have easily had 2 goals in the first period. That could have been a 4-2 period, if not 4-3 period, for Dallas going up by 1 goal and going into the intermission. But Kari was standing on his head. He was getting good shots. He was seeing good shots. He was getting good saves. Plus, he was getting lucky with a post by Christopher Stieg in the first period. And then that little breakdown that we got on Slavin's goal, his first career goal, granted that was one of 2 first career goals that we see in this game, both coming for the Carolina Hurricanes. But in the intermission, Carolina comes out, and within 3 minutes they get their first goal. Did you see any kind of defensive breakdowns or offensive breakdowns by the offensemen? Did you see anything like that, or was it mostly on Kari?
I feel Jordy Bing could have played it a little bit better. Yes, he lays the body down to try and stop the puck from getting to the passer, which any defenseman will do. But it seems like he went more towards the person with the puck, and you should always give the goalie the straight shot. And I mean, if he played just a little bit closer to the trailer, I feel like it doesn't get as easy in.
Yeah, being as a guy that, you pretty much played defense for most of your hockey career that you played, that is really one of the basics thing, is that you let the goalie have the shooter and you try to take that pass away, because the pass is what's going to be the most dangerous thing on that play. Jordy Ben plays it decently, but it really looked like that shot kind of handcuffed Kari a little bit too. It looked like he kind of just got lost in where that puck was going, because it kind of hits him in like the side and on the blocker, and it bounces off his leg pad, and then there's really no one to pick up Slavin to come, and he just crashes the net like a defenseman will. In a odd man rush, there'll always be a defensive trailer if there's one up with the play, and no one really picks him up, and he's able to just bury one in on the Dallas Stars. But that comes within 3 minutes of the opening of the opening of the second period, and then we don't see anything until 30 seconds are left in the second period, and then we see what is a carbon copy of, well, he doesn't make the same move, but it's kind of in the same vein, that he breaks through the defense and he comes in on the net one-on-one. And that would be Mr. Nichushkin, or Nuke. And, he shows this, I think, we thought he had a good game in Vancouver. But was this not his best game of the season?
Points would dictate that, yes, it is, but I feel some of his other games where he's trying hard but he's just not getting the looks, they definitely come into contest with this game. But I think it's a close tie.
Yeah. Nichushkin, he's getting so much confidence while playing on the first line. It's the confidence that we were seeing as him as a rookie. I honestly think that Nichushkin believes he is first line material, and this is what we're seeing whenever he's first line material. But I think him starting out on the fourth line and third line, I think he started the first couple of games up with Ben and Sagan, and then just wasn't really producing. It looked like he was a little skittish. He had some rust from his injury last season. All of that stuff plays into a factor, but it's now that he's starting to understand. It's like a light in a fridge, and it's slowly opening, and you're slowly starting to see that light. It's like he's understanding that he can play to his top potential, and we're seeing it now. And it's refreshing, because if you go to our earlier videos, I mean, you were one of his biggest critics, saying that, maybe he needs to go down to the AHL and play to get some confidence there. I mean, what honestly do you think what would be his inspiration to really starting to come into play now? Is it getting the chances?
I think being that he got moved down to fourth line, third line, that's not where he wants to play his career. He was drafted to be a first liner to play with Ben and Sagan. That's what his whole reason to draft for. And seeing that he's being moved down, working his way back up to the first line, getting his chance to be back out there with them, he's not going to squander it. He knows he needs to be there, so he's going to try his hardest to stay.
Yeah, I honestly think that, and it seems like there's stuff that you can notice whenever you're seeing him play in these games as opposed to earlier in the season. He's keeping his head up. He's paying attention to what's going on in the zones, especially in the defensive zone. He's making plays. He's had some bad turnovers, in some recent games, but it doesn't. It pales into comparison of what is really going on with him. Is that he's starting to understand the system that Dallas has put in. He's understanding the role that this. He's only 20 years old, so I guess it takes different players to mature at different times and different players to realize their potential at different times. But I think now it's his spot to lose now. It's not his spot to win anymore. How do you feel about that? Like me saying that, how do you feel that it is his spot to lose now?
Oh, it most definitely is. Like, that's how every first liner goes. It's, that's, unless you play your best, that's your spot to lose. You can only go down from there.
Yeah, and actually let's go and talk about some other players. It was good seeing Patrick Eves get his first goal of the season, because honestly, his last couple of games have been pretty bad. I mean, he's still contributing in like the defensive zone, but he's had some bad turnovers, and he had a bad penalty in this game. And for like the first 5 minutes of the first period, I honestly thought he was playing himself out of the lineup. Is there anyone else that you feel maybe they're starting to play themselves out of the lineup, since we're seeing Nichushkin really, take stranglehold of the first line, playing himself into that first line lineup? Is there anyone playing themselves out of the lineup?
I feel that Hinchke could technically be playing himself off the team if he doesn't start producing. Sevier as well. I mean, he's a great penalty killer, and he has a lot of potential, but we're an offensive-based team, and we need to start focusing on getting points for everybody. So that's what I think.
Yeah. Who do you think comes in place of one of those two? I mean, is it
with Richie coming back healthy? I honestly think he'd probably be one of the first to get called up. Him and McKenzie.
And who do you think comes out first?
Probably Eves. He's starting to get up into the age a little bit. It's time to start bringing in the fresh players. Sevier, he's still playing his heart out, but so I honestly think it would probably be Eve.
Yeah, I tend to agree with that. I really think that, even though Fiddler is really getting up in the age, I still feel like he's contributing a lot. It really seems like that Eves kind of has a misstep going on, that he's the tempo of this game is not really suited to his style. So I feel as if Eves or Hemsky is going to be the ones that are scratched first when McKenzie and Richie are ready. But we'll see about that later on down the road. Let's go into the third period. Now this period, woof. Like this was the trendsetter of the game that we talked about in the last video, that Dallas plays terrible against these types of teams. So within 2 minutes and 30 seconds of the third period, Justin Falk gets his first goal on the power play. That's where Justin Falk gets all of his goals. Every single goal of his has come on the power play this season. And within 2 minutes and 30 seconds, we get a Justin Falk power play goal. But that goal comes off a very controversial goalie interference call on the coach's challenge. What did you see on the coach's challenge?
It looked as if, Eric Stahl got in there and just, disrupted Kari's leg. So, you think the honest approach to this would be to go for the coach's challenge.
Right. Well, I had I had the liberty of going back and watching the replay, and I watched it a good 6-7 times to see, especially the overhead camera. The overhead camera is what tells the whole story on that. If you go and watch it again, any Stars fan or any hockey fan that has access to that replay, go and watch it again and look for this. Look for Johnny Oduya's stick. Johnny Oduya's stick gets right into Kari's left pad, and that's what hinders his left pad from getting over and blocking that shot. Granted, yes, Eric Stahl is there in the crease, and he does seem to tap Kari's skate blade, but that wouldn't hinder Kari as much as Oduya's stick comes into play. So I think it's a good no call. I don't think it should have been overturned. I think it was a good goal. You know, just go before anyone goes and says that I'm wrong. Try and go watch the replay, and if you feel that I'm still wrong, then by all means go ahead and tell me. But until then, it is Johnny Oduya's stick that messes up Kari more than anything. But a minute later, we get another Carolina Hurricanes goal. It is now 5-3. And this is where the ship starts to sink. This is where they take a cannonball right into the hull of their ship, and they are taking on water. 5 minutes later, Justin Falk gets another power play goal. It's these penalties that hurts Dallas in the long run. You know, I think Dallas takes some of the more careless penalties in the league. I don't watch every team, so that my exposure is mostly to Dallas, but I still think their penalties come at terrible, terrible times, especially this too many men on the ice penalty that Nichushkin is obviously guilty of. You could tell all over his face seeing that replay that you get on him. Bad penalty, especially coming off of Carolina's too many men penalty, like 2 minutes later. So that was a bad one. And then Jeff Skinner, not really undressing Jordy Ben, but getting enough separation and enough movement to where he can coerce the puck onto his forehand. But as we see from the replay, it rides Jordy Ben's stick. But come on, Kari has to make that save. What? How did you see Kari on that? Like,
awful. He was awful.
Yeah. Did you feel like, you know, after maybe that third goal, you know, just right there from the slot, do you think that like his confidence was pretty much shot? Like, how do you explain, or do you think it was the coach's challenge that shoots his confidence down? I mean,
I'm pretty sure it was the coach's challenge, because you see him. He also thinks it's goalie interference. He thinks that the call shouldn't count, and seeing it get overturned, you know, that could probably mess with his head. Like, oh well, I was wrong on that, so now it's in his head. So I think that's right whenever his ship starts to sink.
Yeah. Now the score is 5-5, and earlier in this period, Razor had a very interesting saying, as you know, when the Stars were up 5-1 and Carolina got their second goal, Razor was going on and saying that, you know, with the lead that they have, the Stars are pretty much going, you know, to hold back a little bit. You know, they're going to get outshot because they have such a hard lead, because Carolina is going to throw everything they can at them. But why? Why, when you're up that much, why let off the gas? I mean, you have so much momentum going into the third period. You just scored 30 seconds left in the second period. Why let this team just continue to plug away at the lead? I mean,
seriously,
why? What are your thoughts on that? Like, Razor distinctively says that the Stars are going to get outshot because they're going to let Carolina, give everything they have, and Dallas is going to try and withstand that. I mean, what do you think about that?
Oh, I hate it. Like, I've always hated that concept of, oh, we're up 5-1. Let's play defensively. It's a stupid idea, because that's when teams start getting their motivational speeches in during intermission. They get that one lucky bounce, and now all the momentum's in their turn. You're focused on playing defense, no offense, and they are just pummeling you. And it's usually how it always turns out. Stars should start playing offense when they get a 5-goal lead, 6-goal lead, 2-goal lead, doesn't matter. They need to start focusing on not letting up.
Exactly. Dallas's best defense is their offense. By just keep on going. Don't stop. Don't let off the gas. Do not put on cruise control. Redline that bitch as high as it can go and keep going. If you know what, you have a 5-1 lead in going into the third period, make it a 7-1 lead. Make it a 7-3 ending. Get as many goals as you can. This is the pros. There's no such thing as style points. A win is a win, a loss is a loss, and you almost lost this game if not had been for Patrick Sharp. 19 seconds left in the period. Patrick Sharp continues to be one of the best Dallas Stars, and this is the reason why we pick him up. Because he has been in these situations. He has been in championship situations, and these games right here, granted it's against the Carolina Hurricanes and not against Boston or Detroit or hell, even St. Louis, but these are the character games that help build you, that lets you know, do not take anything for granted. Do not take anything for granted. As we see in any Stars game, no lead is safe. Not a 3-goal lead, not a 4-goal lead is safe anymore in this league. They complain about scoring in this league. It's bullshit. We get plenty of goals in this league. And this game proves that even though Carolina is one of the worst in the league, this is still professional sports. Let's go into the ratings. How do you rate this game?
Solid C. Just because of their first period play. If it hadn't been for that first period, they would be an F in my book.
Yeah, it was. This game is very bittersweet. I mean, how do you rate poorly on a win? But I also gave a C rating as well. The Stars play the Philadelphia Flyers in game 29 on Friday. What are your predictions for that?
Well, many people may not know this, but I was actually the hometown hero at one of these Dallas Stars games when I was in the military. The game was against Philadelphia, and we saw a Tyler Seguin hat trick. So I'm thinking that they're gonna channel me being there at the game again, and let's see, a 5-2 win over Philadelphia. And if Dallas Stars decide to forget about me, no hard feelings, but I see Philadelphia coming out, let's say 3-2.
Interesting. Now, Dallas has already won one game. This will be the season series ender. I think Dallas won that game 2-1. I like them to take the Carolina game and learn from it. I think they will put their foot down and really drive home a win. Hoping they give a full 60 minutes. I like the score of 4-1. if Philadelphia comes in and runs all over the place and they catch Dallas with their pants down, I like a score of 4-3. And just like that, the discussion is over. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, share anywhere you would like. Remember, this is a discussion by fans, for fans. Help us turn this into something that you would want to listen to, that your mom would want to listen to, that you'd have on in the car when you're driving in traffic. Help us grow this into something great. And, as always, tune in next time.